Hello and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. Today we are doing the April Copic Colors. I really hope that this actually gets to go out in April. I'm filming this on the 12th and my markers only just shipped even though I ordered them on the 1st. Anyway, I have the pink that we need right here, but the other two I am waiting for. I ordered them from Imagination Ink and they're in California. So for the colors this month, we are doing BG000 Pale Aqua, BG34 Horizon Green, and RV21 Light Pink. The only one I have as I'm recording this. Let's get to it. Let's see what I create. Last month I used the 3 colors of the month to draw a tiger in a photo negative inspired style, and I really liked how that worked out, so I decided to try the same thing with this month's colors. This time we're doing a giraffe, which is surprisingly something I haven't tried to draw since elementary school, despite the fact that it was my high school best friend's favorite animal. Seriously, her room was covered in giraffes. She got tired of all the giraffe stuff after a while though, and I think it was grade 10 when she explicitly said no giraffe related gifts for her birthday. I still remember she had this poster in her room, this poster, for as long as I knew her, and it was huge. The poster, not the room. Her family had a 3-bedroom house, but she had 2 sisters, and as they got older, they didn't like the idea of sharing a bedroom. The house had a large rec room on the 2nd floor where the bedrooms were, so they carved off a small room on the end of that by putting up an extra wall. When I met her, that was her bedroom. It was a long and narrow room. It was as wide as the garage it was positioned above, but only deep enough to accommodate her bed on one end and a dresser and a small bookshelf on the other end. And it also had partially sloped ceilings because of the style of the rec room it used to be part of. And that giraffe poster was on the slanted part of the ceiling. So to get an idea of how big that poster was, it was almost as wide as the space it was put in, which was the length of her bed. I always thought her room was really cool, but of course such a small room that was inside the rec room made sleepovers at her place kind of inconvenient. We always ended up sleeping in the rec room itself on the futon, but of course that meant we couldn't go to bed until both her sisters were done using the rec room for the night, and we had to get up as soon as someone else wanted the rec room in the morning. But the plus side of that trade-off was the family's computer and video game consoles were in the rec room, so we kind of had dibs on those for the night just by virtue of having our beds set up in that room. Later on in our friendship, she and her younger sister traded rooms, and then she finally had, you know, a normal size squarish room. It wasn't so cramped. I don't remember if her sister actually wanted to trade rooms or if it was their parents' idea. I think she was originally supposed to get her older sister's room when her older sister moved out, but their parents realized that she wasn't moving out anytime soon, and my friend was fast approaching 12th grade and would potentially be moving away for school without ever having her own normal-sized bedroom. Or, you know, it's entirely possible the younger sister wanted to get further away from the older sister and liked the idea of the little room at the back of the rec room. Anyway, enough of that. I don't really know where I was going with it. I haven't seen her in a long time now. Coincidentally, we both moved out of our home province at the same time, but we hadn't had a lot of contact for a couple of years before that. She moved to Maryland for a PhD program and ended up staying as a lecturer, and I moved to Newfoundland to start a new bachelor's degree and ended up getting married. You never know what life has in store. I'm curious, how many of you are still friends with your high school best friend? If you are, you're lucky. By the way, if you're new here, please do subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. I upload every Tuesday and Thursday, and sometimes I have bonus videos as well. I'm primarily an art channel, but I also do crafts, tutorials, and related product reviews. I know I keep mentioning crafts I've got ready and coming soon and then never put them out. I've got an air dry clay review filmed and ready that I keep bumping for other content. At this point, I think I'll put it out next week. If that sounds interesting to you and you really want to see it, let me know in the comments and tell me to make sure I finally release it then and don't bump it again. Thursday is going to be an announcement, and it's accompanied by my very first chibi character ever, so definitely come back for that. Also, comment down below if you've ever tried Copic Colors of the Month challenge. I said that weird. Or if you're thinking of trying it in the future. The North American distributor of Copic products, Imagination Inc., are the ones who pick the colors of the month each month. Normally, you can buy the 3 colors as a set straight off the copicmarker.com website. This month they didn't. Not sure what happened with that. You can also color match with your other markers or different supplies if you need to. They post the Pantone and Hex color codes on their Instagram account, so go follow them if you want to know more. Not sponsored, just a fan. But that's all I've got. I will let the music take us out, I suppose. Here's my 3-color marker challenge giraffe. Bye, guys.